Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. The most corrupt in history. That's how one congressman describes the 2025 national budget, which he says was mangled beyond recognition. This comes as more officials, including lawmakers, find themselves facing accusations of receiving kickbacks in flood control projects. How deep does the scandal go? Let's get on point with Davao City Representative Isidro Ungab. Congressman Ungab, good to have you. Finally, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good evening, Ma'am Pinky. Good evening to our televiewers.
All right. Maganda hong pag-usapan natin ng budget talaga dahil kayo po ang dating House Appropriations Committee Chairman. Yes. I'm gonna set that aside for now dahil ang dami po nangyari sa House at sa Senado. Ngayong araw po at syempre kahapon. Let's start with the House Infra hearing. Ang nangyari ho kasi during yesterday's Senate hearing, the Diskaya couple named a number of congressmen supposedly, allegedly, involved in kickbacks on flood control projects. Punta po yung usapan hanggang sa kay Speaker at kay Congressman Zaldico. Ngayong araw naman po, doon sa House hearing, kasi yun po yung kahapon, si former Bulacan 1st District Engineer, named senators naman po. Wala pong senators that was named yesterday, puro congressman. Ngayon naman po, dalawang senador ang named. Senator Jinggoy Estrada and Senator Joel Villanueva as recipients of supposedly 30% ng flood control projects. Congressman, ang tanong ko po, sino ho ba ang paniniwalaan ng publiko? Mas lalo na dun sa nakasubaybay sa mga hearing.
Ma'am, actually, as early as August 10, I manifested on the floor at the plenary na I am against the House conducting an investigation. This is because, unang-una, any investigation that would involve, lumabas na nga yung issues na may congressmen involved, no? Ang tawag na contractors. So any investigation that will be investigated by congressmen themselves will never be impartial. At saka, whether you exonerate or you accuse, you convict a fellow member, nobody will believe us. It's only the image of the House that will suffer. That's why as early as August 11, sinabi ko na yon. And I manifested again during the first or second hearing last Monday. Sinabi ko na rin yon. I'm against the House conducting a hearing to investigate our colleagues.
Kaya ho nandun kayo. I think that was the first hearing. Hindi ho ba yung medyo nagtagal nga po bago nakapagsalita si Congresswoman Garin dahil meron pong mga motions that were set forward tulad po nung disclosure, whether you have any direct or indirect interest in any of the flood control projects. Dun po, you were there. I saw you there.
Yes, I was invited because of my statement on the floor August 10. So, manifest ko ulit yun.
Pero nagpapatuloy po eh.
Well, ako personally, I would advise them to stop. And lalong-lalo na ngayon na may ginagawang independent body that will investigate. Kasi nakikita ko sa budget insertions, guilty pareho, both House and Senate may insertions. So why proceed with the investigation when pagdating ng panahon, they will have to answer why marami silang pinasok na insertions.
Yes, something that needs to be talked about, Congressman. Pero today po, gaya ng sabi ko, nagkaroon po ng aligasyon, ito pong si Bryce Hernandez, alleging Senator Jinggoy Estrada, who was also leading the investigation in the Senate, no? Yesterday and the other weeks, and also Senator Joel Villanueva. Let's listen, sir, to what Bryce Hernandez said. Let's play this.
Sabi ni Senator Marcoleta kahapon, ligtas ka na. Hindi po ito totoo. Si Senator Jinggoy Estrada, Senator Joel Villanueva, Yusek Robert Bernardo, at D. Alcantara. Si Senator Jinggoy po ay nagbaba ng 355 million ngayong 2025. Noong 2023 naman, ay naglabas ng 600 million si Senator Joel Villanueva.
Yung pong sinasabi ko kasi minsan ng tao, the public is invested. Understandably, hindi lang po kayo yung against this hearing by the TRICOM, by the Infra Committee. Meron din po kayong mga kasama na hindi sang-ayon dito sa ginagawang hearing. Pero meron pong lumalabas na ganyang mga allegation, whether true or not. Again, how do we, siguro if we were to ask you, somebody who is not in favor of these hearings, how do we appreciate, accept, understand allegations like this?
Well, I firmly believe that it would be better for an independent body to investigate. Mahirap kasi, ma'am, kasi these allegations, yun na nga the statement of one against the statement of another. A congressman or a senator has been accused. So we need a special expertise here of yung magaling talaga ng mga investigators, experienced investigators who can really know kung yung nagsasalita ba ay is telling the truth or just fabricating statements.
Kayo
Mahirap.
ba, pag pinapanood nyo, do you size up that person? Tinitingnan nyo ho ba siya? Do you watch and analyze his or her statements? And do you form your own opinion kung nagsasabi po itong taong to ng katotohanan o kasinungalingan?
Yeah, more or less, kaya lang kulang yung personal knowledge mo sa background niya. So that's why an experienced guy is very important to investigate.
So you don't personally judge? Like, let's say if I ask you, do you think Bryce Hernandez is telling the truth?
No. It's not good kasi wala akong personal knowledge sa background niya.
Even the disguise?
Yeah. Mahirap.
Mahirap. All right. So, ito pong sinasabi ninyong insertion, both houses you're saying are guilty of insertions, tama po. But are insertions, let's be clear about this, are they necessarily bad?
Insertions may be good, basta they follow the procedures because our budget, the national budget, should be based on the National Development Plan. We have a National Development Plan that may long-term tayo, may 25-year development plan, meron tayong mid-term plan, meron din tayong tinatawag na medium-term financial framework that would discuss the fiscal and the financial aspect. So kung mag-i-insert ka or mag-i-insert ang any chamber, House or Senate, it should be in accordance with the plan. Kasi kung mag-i-insert yung legislator na wala sa plano, kawawa yung implementing agency. They will find a hard time to implement, madidelay yun. At saka kung wala sa plano, mag-i-start all over again sila.
Tell us what's wrong about let's start with the 2025 budget. Noong 2024, kayo pa po ang House Appropriations Committee Chairperson.
No,
Would that
the
be
last
correct?
time I was Appropriations Committee was the 18th Congress. Then matagal ako sa 16th Congress.
I see.
Medyo matagal na.
So, 18th pa. So, even before 2022. Tama
Yeah,
po?
I think 2019 or
2019,
Yun
all
yung
right.
last ko.
But you described this 2025 budget, ito pong huling budget, as mangled, beyond recognition, and the most corrupt in history. Yun ho bang inyong pag-describe dito sa budget na to, lumalabas na ho ba yung nagiging problema dito sa nakikita nating flood control projects? Is this just the beginning, sir?
Well, actually, as early as pagpasa pa lang ng Bicameral Conference Committee report on this 2025 budget, nakita ko na yung blank items. There were 28 blank items covering 13 pages. So it was ratified. In fact, that's the topic of my petition to the Supreme Court,
Yes.
requesting the Supreme Court to declare the budget illegal, unconstitutional, because of it is a product of that,
allegedly blank items.
Oh, yeah, blank items. 28 blank items, imposible naman hindi nakita yun.
Congressman, just to be accurate, itong 28 blank items na 2025 budget, worth 200, meron ho ba itong kaakibat na I know it's blank.
Merong mga nag-compute pero hindi ako nag-compute noon. Kasi for me, okay na yun, nakita ko yung blank items. They have to explain it. Wala namang klarong explanation. But there was a congressman, I think, na 200 plus billion.
241, yung nabasa ko po, 241 billion pesos.
Yeah, but I was not the one who computed.
Well, would you be able to help us? How did that congressman come up with this amount with regards in relation to these blank items?
Well, I met him. Tinanong ko, ang sabi niya, yung blank item, tapos tiningnan niya kung anong lumabas doon sa GAA. So yun lang, i-add lang na niya lang.
Yun ang pinag-compare niya.
Pinag-compare niya.
And then you were saying that there was never such a thing as blank items in the past, kahit nung kayo po ay House Appropriations Committee Chairperson?
Wala, because yung final BICAM report, prepared of course by both houses, Senate and the House, yung panel members, so dalawang mag-check nun before i-present for ratification. And there was an instance in the past na may mali sa BICAM report, babalik talaga for correction, babalik for re-ratification. So itong nangyari ngayon, BICAM report, gina-claim lang nila na the staff were authorized to make necessary corrections, which is not within the scope of the...
It's not acceptable. Is
Hindi,
that
hindi.
not
Kasi
acceptable?
yung authorized doon sa... There was a provision that allows correction only for technical, grammatical, and typographical errors. A blank item is not
Part of
considered
that.
like that.
Meron hong nagsabi, ultimo mga comma, a period, ay chine-check daw dapat.
Yeah, very, very strict yan kasi national budget eh.
What is the issue or what is the motivation, Congressman, for these allegedly blank items?
Well, yun. Who filled this up? Paano na-filled up pagdating sa enroll bill? Paano na-filled up pagdating sa GAA? So it's very important.
Will you ever find out?
Well, I think the Supreme Court will find it out.
How?
Well, nasusurprise lang ako. Pagdating ko sa final version ng budget, meron na siyang figures.
Congressman, I know that there is a petition before the Supreme Court regarding this 2025 budget, but does that become moot pagdating po ng 2026?
No, I don't think so because the violations were actually ang dami kong na violations na nakikita eh. Aside from that blank items, the budget of the DPWH has overtaken the educational sector budget. Our constitution mandates that the education should be number one.
Yeah, we should have the
Nahabol.
lion's
Pagdating
share.
sa BICAM, umabot ng sobra 1 trillion yung budget ng DPWH. I think I have the slide.
We're actually sharing that on the screen right now. But I want to get to, sige, let's talk about that, sir. Ito kasi yung education versus DPWH. Pero meron pa ho. If we have the one of the DPWH, siguro let's put that up
Yan
on
na rin,
air.
the same. Yun, balik na lang tayo.
Dalawa kasi yun comparing. Pero ito po, let's just figure out itong DPWH. Much has been talked about this.
Increase of 200 plus, 288 billion pagdating sa GAA.
So, originally, ang lumalabas po, Congressman,
900 billion lang. Yung sa...
898 million, yung sa NEP.
Yes, sa NEP niya is 900 billion lang. Mas mataas talaga yung education sector kasi 997 billion. Pagdating sa BICAM, na-overtake yan kasi yung sa BICAM nung education budget, nabawasan pa sila ng 31 billion, pero yung DPWH nadagdagan ng 288 billion. So ang final product, naglampas yung infra budget. And naglabas sila ng panibagong composition ng education
Right.
sector.
Nakasama yung mga trainings,
PMA,
di ba? PMA, etc. Kaya
PNPA.
nilump nila doon sa education sector. Kaya hindi po siya, it appears it is not illegal. I
But
mean, it's still,
I would like to rebut that
okay.
because the president, in his president's budget, submitted in his president's message the ranking. Sabi niya in his message, 977 billion or number one priority is education. And second priority is infrastructure, DPWH, 900 billion. Now, what was the basis of that 977 billion in the President message? It is found in the BESF, page 298 of the budget of expenditure and sources of financing. Nandoon yung composition education sector. So for you to come up with a consistent composition, yun yung lalabas talaga. 994 billion na lang, palang. Nadagdagan nga ng konti. From 977, naging 984, pero nahabol pa rin siya ng infrastructure.
Yeah. So to be clear, yung blue po is the education.
Education.
The orange is the DPWH. That's already showing us the graph rather on ano yung original, ayun po sa NEP, mas mataas ang education sa DPWH.
Pagdating sa final, mas malaki na yung DPWH. Ang daming pumasok ng insertions.
Umabot na po yan sa
Umabot na 1 trillion,
1.088
1.088 trillion. That is already net of the 26 billion direct veto.
We're going to talk about this and much more. We need to take a very short break. We'll continue our discussion with Davao City Representative Isidro Ungab. When we return, stay tuned. This is On Point. All right, welcome back. Still with us, Davao City Representative Isidro Ungab. So, balikan lang po natin yung graph. So, dyan lumalabas, sir, doon sa GAA na tumaas talaga yung DPWH ng 1 trillion. Parang even, I think it was Congressman Puno who I spoke to maybe a week or so ago. Ang sabi nga niya, nag-umpisa sa 900, nabawasan, etc. Tapos ang ending, parang nagkaroon ng plus 300. Kasi parang may plus-minus dito.
288 billion.
Ayun, 288. Is this enough to actually have the Supreme Court deem the budget as unconstitutional?
Well, the Constitution says number one priority should be education. It should be the number one
The largest budget.
item of expenditure. So this proves that the budget is hindi na follow yung Constitution. It's unconstitutional actually.
Let's connect this now, sir. The DPWH. This added 288 million. Lagay na po natin
Billion.
Billion
Yes,
rather.
billion.
Lagay na po natin sa 300 billion. Mostly saan po napunta itong 300 billion?
Actually, marami, ma'am. Merong concreting, may bridges, merong maintenance. Then, kasama na yung flood control.
Tell us more about that. Is there a way, sir? Kasi inaaral niyo naman po yung budget. I'm sure tiningnan niyo po yan. Ano ho yung connection nito, itong 300 or 288 billion sa flood control projects?
Ang nangyari sa hindi lang sa flood control, maraming items. Yung budget kasi meron tayong program new expenditures, no? Kasama yung program funds, program. Dapat yung program funds mo, yung mga budget ng mga agencies, yung tawag nila dyan, shovel ready for implementation na. Nilipat na karamihan nung nasa program funds, nilipat sa unprogram. Kaya lumubo yung unprogram from original proposal in the NEP of 135 billion lang yung unprogram, naging 531 billion, nagdagdag ng 331 billion. So anong nangyari? Nilipat doon sa unprogram. Tapos yung fiscal space na naiwan, pinalitan ng kanilang mga gusto na projects. Yun yung sinasabi ko. Na dapat, kung maglagay man ng ipalit, dapat it should be within the economic development plan. Kasi kung magpasok ka nung hindi development-oriented, ano bang klase
hindi mo sinusunod yung blueprint.
Yes, wala sa blueprint. Mahihirapan mag-implement talaga yung agency. Karamihan doon, magka-backlog yun, mahihirapan i-implement.
But why do you call it the most corrupt budget?
Well, for so many reasons. Yung una kong sinabi, may blank items. Second, nahabol yung infra. I can, if you remember the controversial deletion of the PhilHealth budget, 74 billion, that's very important. You know, the PhilHealth budget in that NEP of 74 billion came from the syntax law. It's an earmark budget.
Which is part of the law.
Yeah, I was the author of the syntax law, kaya alam ko.
Kaya yung porsyento po ng syntax law ay dapat talaga pupunta sa PhilHealth, to fund the universal healthcare.
And that 74 billion is intended for PhilHealth premium for the indirect beneficiaries. Yung direct beneficiaries, yung mga salaried, no?
Tayo po.
Yung indirect, who are they? Indigents. So yung indirect, yung indigent under the National Household Targeting System, kasama yung 4Ps doon. PWDs, senior citizens. So nawala yung budget para sa kanila, PhilHealth. So
Let me interrupt you there. The reason, of course, they say, was because ang daming pera ng PhilHealth na hindi nila ginagamit. Meron daw surplus.
They cannot say that because the law is very clear. The syntax law is very clear that 80% of the incremental revenues will go to universal health care. They cannot amend that special law.
Whether you have a surplus or not.
Yeah.
Dapat po pupunta
Saka
yun
it's a different matter. It's a different topic. Iba yung usapan doon. But the law says every year, i-allocate mo ito, 80% of that. And not only that.
There's a lot of controversy about that.
I-continue ko, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yung sinabi ko na it is one of the most corrupt budget. 26 out of 27 departments, the budget were mangled. Binago. Up and down, increases and decreases. DOTR budget was reduced by 92 billion.
Which one, sorry?
Department of Transportation was reduced by 92 billion. Department of Agriculture budget was reduced by 20 billion at the BICAM. DOH was reduced by 25 billion at the BICAM. The Department of Labor budget was reduced by 23 billion. DPWH, I have said earlier, nag-increase ng 288 billion. Then, let's go to the special funds, special purpose fund.
Yeah.
Yung special purpose fund, binawasan din nila, halos lahat. The budgetary support for government corporation was reduced by 89 billion. The miscellaneous personal benefit fund, which is personal benefits of civil servants, was reduced by 54 billion. The disaster fund was reduced by 10 billion. Pension and gratuity fund, this is the pension of our employees, binawasan ng 87 billion. The revised AFP modernization program was reduced by 15 billion, wherein dapat mag-modernize tayo ng ating AFP. Then, nasabi ko na ito kanina, and program appropriations were increased by 331 billion. Total special laws that were mangled. When I say special laws, there were earmark provisions. There were 14 special laws that were mangled. Binago nila yung earmark provisions, nagdagdag. Kung magdagdag ka, saan mo kukunin? Kasi yung earmark mo, meron yung taxes na kung saan siya galing. Kung magdagdag ka, saan nila kino? That means binawasan yung budget para idagdag. And last but not, actually, baka marami pa ako hindi nakita, but ito yung sinabi ko sa budget hearing sa DPWH, pati ODA.
Yeah.
ODA, which is Official Development Assistance, ginalaw sa 2025 reduced by 67%.
Yeah. But you were talking about 2 years, 2024 and
2024 was
2025.
reduced to zero.
Yeah. Sabi mo, if this is correct, sir, 40 billion out of the 49 billion funds for Overseas Development Assistance or ODA have been...
Gi-add yan ng reporter because yung 2024 was 21.6 billion.
Yeah.
Yung 2025 was 27.5 billion. This is very important because yung flood control projects natin are classified into two, the big ones and the small ones. The big ones are the ones considered FAPs, under FAPs, foreign assisted projects. Bakit yung big ones nandun? Kasi we cannot afford to provide from our domestic sources of funds. So yung mga 5 billion, 6 billion worth, malalaki ito. Like, for example, Metro Manila flood control project was 6 billion, 6.8 or 6, basta more than 6 billion 2024, another more than 6 billion in 2025. Then, Pasig, Marikina, channel improvement, 7 billion in 2024, another 7 billion in 2025. Yung 2024, zero.
Let me ask you this, though, Congressman. During your time as House Appropriations Committee Chairman, hindi ho ba normal or is this something that did not happen? In a
Bawal
sense,
yan, ma'am.
In a sense na bababa po yung, let's say, DOTR, Department of Agriculture, Department of Health, tapos tataas yung iba. Hindi ganun po.
Hindi namin ginagawa yan. Hindi namin ginagawa yan. We were very rational in our adjustments. Saka ito, mortal sin itong gagalawin mo yung ODA because ODA funds has already sovereign guarantee. Nag-issue na ng sovereign guarantee ang Pilipinas niyan. May loan agreement. Nag-budget na tayo ng commitment fee. You know what happened? Yung malalaki, yung second pala, yung sabi ko, regular funded, yung maliliit, yun yung distributed, nilipat from the big ones, na zero yung big ones, nilipat doon sa small ones.
Yung na zero po, sir, to be clear, was it both years of 2024?
2024. 2025, reduction by 67%. Ang naiwan is only 33%.
So 2024, zero talaga?
Zero talaga.
25, more than half
32% lang ang naiwan.
tinanggal.
Natanggal. And sabi ko nga, unang-una, nagkakahiya, we already have loan agreement. Yung pinaka-main reason talaga is, ito yung parang super highway ng flood control eh. Yung maliliit, yun yung pupunta doon. How can you, paano dadalo yung tubig mo kung wala yung malalaki mo? Yung example, yung Pasig Marikina Channel.
I question that though, Congressman, because when asked, the DPWH was asked, the secretary then, Bonoan, was saying that there's really no unified master plan for the flood control projects.
I would like to answer that. Yung foreign assisted, meron talaga yung master plan because you have to submit the comprehensive feasibility study as well as the master plan. Saka meron talaga yung technical evaluation team na pupunta dito. Kasi malalaki yung projects eh.
How do you solve a problem like what we're experiencing right now with the flood control scandal? I mean, sir...
Well, dapat, i-suggest ko nga kay Secretary Vince Dizon during the budget hearing, pwede pa ba ma-re-avail natin yung past 2 years na hindi na-avail na loans? Because those are the big ticket. Example ko lang, Metro Manila, Metro Manila Flood Control Project, ang laki nun. Dalawang projects, 12 million. We are 2 years behind. Yung Pasig Marikina Channel Improvement, that's 7 plus 7, another 14 billion. We are behind by 2 years. I am not saying that this is the cause of the floods, unabated floods in Metro Manila, but what I would like to say is that kung natuloy lang itong mga proyekto na ito, it could have helped alleviate the flood problems in Metro Manila.
And would you say that you are known to be a Duterte ally? That during the time of the former President Rodrigo Duterte, na nasunod po yung mga inilaan, for example, for flood control projects?
I wasn't handling the DPWH budget the time, but during the 16th Congress, the time of Pinoy, for 3 years I was defending the budget of the DPWH. Kaya alam ko yung budget ng DPWH. So, nasusunod yung kwan. Yung kay former President Duterte, I would say nasunod naman because wala naman akong nakitang baha masyado na malalaki during the time.
But would you say that, well, syempre sa ano din ang panahon, minsan kasi kapag tinatanong nyo yung mga residente, hindi mo alam kung palpak lang talaga yung flood control projects, to be honest, sir, or iba na rin talaga yung bagsak ng ulan ngayon. So there are, different variables also that need to be
when
considered.
it rains, it really pours now. Noong araw, meron pa tayong shower noong araw. Ngayon, diretso ng ulan. No? So kailangan mo, updated mo talaga every year. Kaya yung malalaki mong projects dapat, it is not, I would say, hindi yun mistake na nakaligtaan lang. It is an error of judgment na nawala yung budget ng malalaking flood control.
Error of judgment na sinadya?
Katangahan or kabubuhan or whatsoever. That's why I want them to explain. What is the reason why you chop-chop? Bakit yung chop-chop yung malalaki nilipat? As much as possible, I want to explain.
And who
I
can
want them to
answer
explain.
that? Who's supposed to answer that? The House Appropriations Committee
The
chair
chairman of the
before?
Appropriations Committee.
In the 19th Congress.
In the 19th Congress.
Congressman Zaldico.
Congressman Saldico and possibly the vice chairman, yung pumalit sa kanya, naging chairman din.
Yeah. All right, moving forward, sir. So siguro just to end this, ngayon ang lumalabas na supposed to be allegedly may mga politiko na involved, hindi naman bago yan ngayon lang lumabas o kahapon kasi nung nag-privilege speech si Senator Ping Lacson dati, sinabi niya meron talaga mga politiko na involved this. Kayo ho ba, would you say, sigurado kayo walang makikita sa inyo na involved in any flood control projects or construction companies, etc.?
I have zero budget in 2025. Wala kang makita sa
Prior to that, sir.
Prior to that, wala akong problema because I really follow the procedures Regional Development Council. In fact, all my projects, I present it to the Local Development Council. At saka, if you can look at the records of the RDC, I am the most congressman, most regular yung aking presence doon. I help deliberate because, you know, I come from development finance, so interested ako na enjoy working.
Sa independent commission po na planong ibuo ng Pangulo, would you have any, siguro, meron ho ba kayong suggestion kung sino sana kaya ang magandang mamuno nito or to be part of it?
So, dapat yun talagang walang question sa background. Yung ano bang tawag, integrity should be beyond question.
Maraming salamat po. Davao City Representative Isidro Ungab. Sir, maraming salamat muli. And I'll see you again. That's On Point. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.